So, um, the hours between midnight and dawn carry a particular weight. And for someone connected to you, those hours have become heavy with your presence. While the world sleeps, while distractions fade and defenses lower, you're the one who fills the silence. Not as a passing thought, not as a casual memory, but as something persistent and consuming that won't let them rest. And you might already be sensing this, even from a distance. It may feel as though there's been a shift in the energy between you recently, something less guarded, more exposed, almost like the walls this person has been maintaining are starting to crack under the pressure of what they've been holding back, and those late night hours when resistance is lowest and truth feels unavoidable. That's when everything they've been trying to contain becomes impossible to ignore. Some of you might notice this as a restlessness in your own body, waking at odd hours, feeling pulled toward your phone, sensing someone's attention even when there's no tangible evidence. That's not random. That's you picking up on the intensity of someone else's focus. What happens in the dark is different from what happens in daylight. During the day, this person might be able to maintain composure, to act casual, to pretend the distance between you is manageable. But when night falls and they're alone with their thoughts, when there's nothing to distract them from what they actually feel is less than hash zero, 5 hash is greater than the truth becomes undeniable. And that truth, whatever form it takes for this specific person, it's been building, pressing against the inside of their chest, demanding expression. And the longer they try to contain it, the more urgent it becomes. This reflection invites you to consider, what do you sense when you imagine this person in their most unguarded moments? And does their energy feel closer or more distant than before? It's possible they've been rehearsing what they want to say to you, running through scenarios, um, imagining your reaction, trying to find the right words that would convey the magnitude of what they're feeling without scaring you away. And those mental rehearsals, those private conversations they're having with a version of you that exists only in their mind, they're evidence of how much space you're occupying in their inner world. But rehearsal only goes so far. Eventually, the gap between what someone thinks about saying and actually saying it becomes unbearable, and it may feel as though this person is approaching that breaking point, where keeping silent requires more energy than speaking would. Night has a way of stripping away pretense, of making things feel more urgent and essential than they do in the mundane light of day. And for this person, the nighttime might be when they're most honest with themselves about what you mean to them, about what your absence costs them, about what they're actually willing to risk to close the distance between where things are and where they want them to be. It can seem as if they're carrying on a relationship with you entirely in their head, one where they've already said everything, already revealed the depth of their feelings, already crossed every threshold, and now the dissonance between that internal reality and the external silence. It's becoming too much to live with. Some of you might be wondering what's holding them back if their feelings are this intense. And the answer is likely fear, not indifference, not uncertainty about what they feel, but terror about what happens when they make it real, when they take something private and make it known, when they give you the power to reject them or accept them based on the truth of what they're carrying. That vulnerability, that exposure. For some people, it feels like standing at the edge of a cliff. And even when every part of them wants to jump, the fear of falling keeps them frozen. But eventually, staying on the edge becomes more unbearable than the jump itself. This reflection invites you to consider, if this person were to reveal everything they've been holding, would you be ready to receive it, or would it feel overwhelming? Revelation rarely happens when we're fully prepared for it. It happens when the person speaking can no longer contain what's inside them. And that timing, that urgency, it means you might not get advance notice. You might not get a carefully crafted confession. You might get raw, unfiltered truth that spills out because it has nowhere else to go. And that kind of honesty, while powerful, can also be destabilizing for both of you. Because once words are spoken, once feelings are made explicit, is less than #0. 5 is greater than the dynamic shifts permanently. There's no going back to comfortable ambiguity, no pretending you both don't know what's actually happening beneath the surface. It may feel as though you're about to be handed something you didn't ask for, not in a violating way, but in a way that requires you to respond, to make a choice, to either meet what's being offered or decline it. And that responsibility, that sudden need to be clear about your own feelings when you might not have fully examined them yet. It can feel like a lot of pressure, but you're allowed to need time. You're allowed to not have an immediate answer. You're allowed to be surprised or uncertain or conflicted about what someone else's revelation means for you. Their truth doesn't obligate you to anything except honesty, and honesty can include, I don't know yet. There's also something here about whether what they reveal will match what you've been sensing. Sometimes the reality of someone's feelings is more intense than we anticipated. Sometimes it's less. Sometimes it's completely different from what we assumed. And all of those possibilities require different responses, different levels of readiness, different kinds of courage. So if this person does speak, if they do finally let you see what they've been carrying through all those sleepless nights, pay attention to how it lands in your body, not just in your mind, because your body will tell you the truth about whether this feels like something you want to move toward or something you need to protect yourself from. This reflection invites you to consider, is less than #0. 5 is greater than. What would you need to be true about your own feelings to welcome this person's revelation without reservation? Night thoughts have a particular quality. They're often more honest, but also more dramatic, more emotionally amplified. And when someone finally speaks from that place, there's a rawness to it that can be beautiful, but also intense. So, whatever this person is preparing to reveal, it will likely carry that nocturnal weight, that sense of something that's been incubating in darkness and is now being brought into light. And light changes things, makes them real in ways they weren't when they were just private thoughts, makes them accountable, makes them something both people have to navigate together rather than something one person carries alone. So, as you move toward whatever this person is preparing to say, stay connected to yourself, to what you actually want, not just what would be flattering to receive or validating to hear. Stay aware of the difference between someone's intensity and their capacity, between their feelings and their readiness to honor those feelings through consistent action, because revelation is just the beginning. What matters is what happens after. Whether the person who speaks their truth in the vulnerable hours of night can still stand by it in the clear light of day, and whether what they're offering is something that actually serves your life as it is now, not just the version of you who might have been waiting to hear it. Stay grounded, stay clear, and trust yourself to know the difference between words that move you and words that change you. This reflection invites you to consider, if this revelation arrives, what part of you will be listening and what does that part need most right now?